Coach Mangini is here. Brou, your grade for the Cowboys.
Well, look, first of all, congratulations to the Cowboys for even getting a grade this week. We thought it was over.
Yeah.
Right? We thought that we're done giving grades.
Did move
season
to the B block.
It's over. Yeah, right. But look, they ended a 5-game losing streak. Micah he wrecked the game. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses. Cooper Rush. I got to give him credit, right? His best game ever as a starter. 117 passer rating, career high, 71% completion, something like that. The highest as a starter.
Is there someone you'd like to apologize to?
Well, Greg Jennings isn't here.
Yeah, well, wait, when he wasn't here, you had
Coach,
no problem
are you a
him.
proxy?
I'll accept it for Greg.
Well, he did throw for 45 yards his first game of Sunday. He said he could be like Dak. And yesterday, he was kind of like Dak.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. Look, they beat what now at least is a playoff team on the road. So I'm going to give him some credit. And Kevontae Turpin, that move, we don't even need to see the whole play, but that move he made is just phenomenal. I mean, that spin.
Also, muffing or fumbling a punter kick return, if it can end in disaster, but it also can really help.
I wonder if that's the new dynamic.
Well, the famous Deshaun Jackson punt return against the Giants that had Tom Coughlin wanting to murder the punter, he muffed it. Like, guys relax a bit or lose their gaps or something when you muff it.
And I do, Coach. I know, Coach, you're going to rant and rave about this, but I'm not even mad at Wanye Thomas. Wanye, look, Coach, he's started 1 game in his career. When's he going to get a chance to score a touchdown?
Go down.
I'm not mad at him. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm like, get yours, Wanye. All right? He's like, look, I'm going for my glory. And he had the speed to do it, so I'm not mad at him. I know Coach is going to yell at him. But
all right, so what's the
So
grade?
even though they are indeed a tomato can, I'm giving them an A.
A seems like a lot.
No.
A seems like a lot.
They are terrible.
Okay.
All right? They're a bad team. They just beat a playoff team in Washington.
A?
Yeah.
The Terry
with a backup
McLaurin
quarterback.
touchdown on its own.
With a backup quarterback, I'm happy for the Cowboys. I've been giving them enough Fs. I was exhausting myself trying to come up with different ways to give them Fs. So I'm going to give them an A. Hey,
I really thought I was going to have to grade on a curve because I thought you were going to be harsh on them. And I didn't realize you were going to be Mr. Excitement. Like, you just love the exciting ending. And then you give out an A. As long as it's entertaining, they get an A. And that the game was entertaining. It should have never, ever had that onside kick go back for a touchdown. I mean, you just gave up a long bomb.
Is that coach? I know you're hesitant to criticize the coaches, but don't the coaches have to tell the guys, if we recover this, just fall on it? Go down, isn't that the last thing they tell them?
There's no discussion where you're like, hey, if this comes, try to pick it up and run it back for a touchdown. Like, that's
I feel like I wouldn't even mention it.
Because
he was
fortunate that he got. Because look, the dudes had angles. 2 guys had angles on him, and he just had the speed to run through them.
The last thing you're ever doing is thinking, I'm going to pick it up and return it. No, just fall on. You're in between 2 guys.
Right. See,
I mean, that could have been a disaster.
It could have been a disaster.
It could have, but they're out of it anyway.
So, Wildes, real quick before we move on. So, here's why I wouldn't be, not that I'm a professor, but I wouldn't be able to give them an A. Is because situationally, they screwed up everything you can screw up at the end of a game and still win. So now, to their credit, they did a lot to get. They're up 20-9 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
20-9. At that point, they have held Jayden to 80 yards passing. They allow a 9-play touchdown drive, which doesn't actually kill you unless you allow it immediately in 2 minutes. So that's the first situational bad thing. Then they erase it all because of the kick return, with the real return, not the onside kick return. But then they allow a field goal in 70 seconds, which makes it to where it doesn't have to be an onside kick game, but it is. They do, and then they allowed the McLaurin TD, which was
terrible.
I think the worst defensive play of the year.
Yes.
The McLaurin touchdown, and this is the one. Like, it's 34 seconds left. They have no timeouts.
Hail Mary.
And
this is worse than the Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary.
The only reason I say the Hail Mary was worse was because of, I can't remember the kid's name who was yelling.
You and I keep having problems. Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek, yeah. You know, like
but
that's the only thing that made it worse.
That
this
was one
is bad.
guy and a lot of luck involved. This was, to me, 8 guys screwing up. Like the entire back end.
But look how many guys are jogging when the ball's in the air.
I mean,
if you look at the whole backside of the defense, everybody's jogging because there's this assumption
They thought it was
someone else is going to make the
You
tackle.
always talk about that.
And it's just like
And I to your point, Nick, I think one of the weaknesses of Mike McCarthy is lack of attention to detail.
It just felt
and it shows
bad.
up in the
It felt-
playoffs.
situationally, it felt bad.
but Mike
wait.
Zimmer, he's a detailed guy.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go to talk about the Commanders. They are now 7-5. Not bad, Coach, but they have lost 3 in a row. You had them going to the playoffs. Are you starting to get a little bit worried?
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. This is a team that has performed well above expectations, and I thought they were going to be in the mix at the end because this whole division was going to struggle and knock each other off. And I thought that Jayden would have a good season. Now they came out so aggressively and so positively that now they built expectations, and it's hard when you're a team like the Commanders where it's a long season. You figure Jayden's played 12 games. In college last year, I think he played 12 games at this point as well. So he's getting a little bit tired. People are they're taking him more seriously. The expectations are different.
The cliff.
Yeah, they're going to have to be able to deal with success, and I didn't think anybody, including everybody at the Commanders, thought they'd have that much success that early.
So here's my question, Wildes. Because listen, I think Jayden, when Jayden is healthy, I think Jayden's going to be an excellent pro. My concern about Jayden is purely about, is he going to be healthy long term in his frame? But the last 3 games have been rough. It's not just that the defense has regressed. He has regressed as well. He has 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, a 78 rating. And in this game, his final numbers are way better than he played.
wouldn't have had 200 yards if it wasn't for the McLaurin.
No, right. And again, he had 80 yards with 5 minutes left in that football game, and so, which was to me more indicative of how he played. So here's the only question I'll ask. Is there a chance the Cowboys get on their heels? If we show you their schedules the rest of the way, given how the Cowboys play the Giants in 3 days. They then play the Bengals on a Monday after they played on a Thursday, and the Bengals will have played Pittsburgh. And then they have the Panthers. Like, is there a world the Cowboys are 7-7? And then the Commanders are sitting there at
Cowboys are not
8-6?
Cowboys won't make the playoffs.
No.
The Panthers are rolling right now.
Panthers are rolling. They're a sneaky tough team.
They are a tough team.
Nobody listens to me. I keep telling people that.
If
I've
the
always liked
Cowboys
this.
beat the Bengals,
Then,
I mean, they should be the Giants. If they beat the Bengals, then they should be. That should be
But
3
that
in a
Giants
row.
game is where?
in Dallas.
And
Dallas,
how
right.
how
They
they
haven't
played
won
in
Dallas.
Yeah, but how have the Giants
Well, so
played
the Bengals
this
everywhere.
decade?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
and so
Dallas just came off a big win. This should be their we got it now.
Knowing the Cowboys, they do have a
the reason I
backup
Get
quarterback.
that ready for
the reason I bring it up is just that NFC 7 seed seemed locked and done. That it was the Commanders had it. I just don't know where the bottom is for the Commanders. And I wasn't as high on them as coach going into the year, but I thought they could finish second in that division. I thought they would be frisky adjacent. But this is trending in the wrong direction. So I don't know if it opens things up for the Cowboys, for a second NFC South team, for a second NFC West team. But all those
I
teams.
think it opens it up for somebody else. I think there's a real question mark as to whether they're going to make the playoffs.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.